vanished realm beneath the North Sea, the forgotten world of Doggerland. With astonishing rapidity, yet, stranger evidence emerges that complicates the narrative even further. An expanding collection of discoveries indicates that humans may have reached the Americas far earlier than the Clovis culture. Archaeological locations such as Monteverde in Chile and the Gault site in Texas have yielded artifacts thousands of years older than known Clovis tools, shattering the long-standing idea that the Clovis people were the earliest inhabitants of the New World. If other populations were already established before them, then who exactly were the Clovis? Were they an isolated group, or just a fragment of a much more ancient migration erased from history? Some researchers even propose they may have descended from a civilization predating the last ice age, a society wiped out by some forgotten catastrophe beyond our full understanding. Despite the countless theories, the ultimate fate of the Clovis culture remains one of the most enduring puzzles of archaeology. Did they die out due to extreme environmental shifts? Were they destroyed by some cosmic event from the sky? Or did they simply merge into other developing societies and vanish quietly, their legacy fading into distant ancestry? History is full of civilizations like this, people who rose, thrived, and disappeared, leaving behind only fragments of their existence for us to decode. Yet, sometimes what they leave behind is not just ruins or broken tools. Sometimes, they leave behind mysteries that seem to defy reason. Across the dense tropical jungles and ancient floodplains of Costa Rica, enormous, perfectly sculpted stone spheres lie scattered, half buried beneath the soil. These are not crude stones shaped by erosion. They are artificial, crafted by human hands, and almost unbelievably geometric and smooth. Some weigh over 10 tons, yet no one knows who carved them, how they were moved, or what their purpose was. These enigmatic objects, known today as the stone spheres of Costa Rica, have puzzled scientists and historians for nearly 100 years. Their story begins in the 1930s when laborers for the United Fruit Company began clearing land in the Diquís Delta to plant bananas. While cutting through the thick rainforest, workers stumbled across these massive stone balls, some flawless, others slightly weathered, yet all strangely unnatural. A few were found together, positioned in deliberate formations, while others lay isolated, buried beneath layers of history. At first, the workers had no idea what they were. Some assumed they were giant natural rocks, while others believed they held hidden treasures inside. In the search for gold, several stones were blown apart with dynamite, but nothing was found inside. No treasures, no artifacts, only solid rock. Curiosity grew, and soon archaeologists arrived to investigate. The spheres were unlike anything found in Central America before. They ranged in size from small stone balls just inches wide to giant spheres over 8 feet across. Many were carved with astonishing precision, so precise that they appeared mathematically engineered. Even more baffling was the material. Most spheres were carved from granodiorite, a dense volcanic stone not naturally found near their discovery sites.
This means the stone had to be transported from distant quarries and then carefully shaped, an achievement requiring advanced craftsmanship and engineering skills far beyond what was believed to exist in the region at the time.
So who made them? The most widely accepted theory credits the Diquís culture, an indigenous civilization that flourished in Costa Rica from around 700 to 1530 AD. The Diquís people were skilled artisans known for metalworking, pottery, and stone sculpture. But nowhere else in their known history do we see projects of this enormous size and precision. They left behind no written language, and their civilization collapsed before Europeans arrived, leaving only these mysterious stone monuments behind, silent and unexplained. Speculation about their purpose is limitless. Some scholars believe the spheres were symbols of power, marking the homes or burial sites of rulers or high-ranking chiefs. Others think they served as astronomical instruments, aligned precisely with the sun, stars, or constellations. A number of spheres were discovered arranged in geometric alignments, suggesting they were deliberately positioned for a spiritual or cosmic purpose. Disappearance of the Clovis culture, America's forgotten ancients. Sealed away beneath centuries, the chamber revealed itself hidden behind an abnormally thick coating of mortar, suggesting it had remained perfectly undisturbed since antiquity. Because of its immense size and the extraordinary effort taken to close it off, scholars theorized it must hold someone of tremendous significance. Some even proposed a bold idea, that this might finally be the missing burial site of Alexander the Great, whose tomb has never been discovered despite the countless legends surrounding it. Since he founded the city that carries his name, Many have long believed his resting place lies concealed somewhere beneath its stones. Yet another belief lingered in the shadows, one that made even experts uneasy about interfering with the tomb. The notion that ancient graves hold curses is as old as time itself, and tales of tragedy following their disturbance have haunted history for generations. From the infamous curse of Pharaoh Tutankhamun to unexplained misfortunes linked to other archaeological digs, the ominous warnings were plentiful. Locals whispered that opening this sarcophagus might awaken something long sealed, something powerful, something dangerous. But despite the ominous warnings, the excavation team pressed forward. The eyes of the world were fixed on the site, and the promise of a monumental archaeological revelation was too compelling to abandon. However, prying open the stone coffin proved far from simple. The lid alone weighed over 15 tons, demanding industrial machinery and meticulous effort to remove. The moment it finally shifted open, a foul, suffocating odor poured out. Inside, the discovery was not gold, royal treasure, or an elaborately preserved mummy. Instead, it was unsettling. The massive coffin was filled with a dark reddish fluid, and suspended inside were the deteriorated skeletal remains of 3 individuals. The strange liquid turned out to be a gruesome mixture of groundwater and centuries of human decomposition, forming a putrid, viscous sludge. Forensic examination revealed the bones belonged to 2 men and 1 woman, though little else was immediately identifiable. What shocked researchers even more was the complete lack of writing, decoration, carvings, or hieroglyphic inscriptions, an anomaly for a tomb of such magnitude. Traditional Egyptian burials typically included amulets, vessels, sacred items, and carved prayers for the afterlife, but this resting place contained none. The absence of context deepened the enigma. Who were these people? Why were they entombed in an enormous stone coffin without names, symbols, or funerary offerings? And why had it been sealed so thoroughly, as if deliberately intended never to be opened? When news of the finding became public, the internet erupted with wild speculation. Some conspiracy theorists claimed the red liquid possessed mystical powers and even begged authorities to let them drink it for immortality. Others argued the burial might represent a forbidden ritual, a botched form of mummification, or even punishment after death. More grounded theories emerged as well. Perhaps these individuals were elite military commanders or nobles of high rank. The colossal sarcophagus suggested elevated status, but the lack of royal markings implied a burial outside normal tradition. Some experts suggested they may have died unexpectedly, during a plague, war, or political purge, forcing priests to bury them quickly, without ceremony. Another possibility was that the sarcophagus had been reused, originally created for a person of immense power but later repurposed as a mass grave. Yet despite countless hypotheses, no final explanation was ever proven. The skeletal remains were transported for extended analysis, and the stone coffin was moved to protect it. It was not the lost tomb of Alexander the Great, but even so, it remains one of the most perplexing and eerie archaeological discoveries in modern history. Its gigantic scale, disturbing contents, and unanswered questions have left researchers baffled. Yet mysteries such as this are not confined to Egypt alone. In a quiet library in the Czech Republic rests a manuscript so immense, so enigmatic, and so shrouded in legend, that some believe it was written with the assistance of the devil himself. Up next, the Codex Gigas, the Devil's Bible, a manuscript so colossal and so mysterious that the disappearance of the Clovis culture, North America's ancient mystery. Finely shaped hunting blades found scattered across North America tell a forgotten story. These expertly engineered spear tips, crafted from flint and stone, reveal a people who possessed shared skills, organized trade routes, and an intimate understanding of the land they lived on. For generations, researchers believed the Clovis civilization represented the earliest human population in the Americas, arriving from Siberia by crossing the Bering Land Bridge. Then, without warning, they vanished. Their traces faded from history almost instantly, their legacy preserved only in tools buried beneath ancient soil. No clear answer explains how such a widespread culture could simply disappear. The discovery of the Clovis people began in the early 1900s, when archaeologists unearthed unique spear points near Clovis, New Mexico, giving the culture its name. These weapons were found alongside the bones of Ice Age giants like bison and mammoths, evidence that the Clovis were highly skilled hunters capable of taking down massive prey in brutal glacial conditions. As decades passed, more Clovis sites emerged, not only across the United States but also in Canada and even parts of South America, revealing that this was no small tribe. They were a powerful, far-reaching society, advanced for their time, capable of survival and expansion. Then everything stopped. Around 12,800 years ago, all evidence of Clovis life abruptly disappeared. Their tools vanished from excavation sites, their technology stopped evolving, and their settlements left no sign of destruction or abandonment. No warfare, no plague pits, no mass starvation. It was as if this culture stepped out of history, leaving behind only scattered weapon fragments and bones. This unexplained disappearance has confounded scientists for decades, igniting intense debate about what happened. One of the most prominent theories is the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. According to this idea, a massive comet or asteroid struck the Earth around 12,800 years ago, unleashing a chain reaction of devastation. This cosmic impact ignited uncontrollable wildfires across North America, filling the sky with ash and dust. Temperatures around the world plummeted, dragging Earth back into near Ice Age conditions. This sudden freeze, known as the Younger Dryas climate event, would have destroyed vegetation, wiped out food sources, and caused mass extinction. The Clovis, who relied on large animals for survival, would have been pushed to the brink. Evidence supporting this catastrophe includes the discovery of a strange black sediment layer, rich in carbon, found at Clovis sites. This layer contains microscopic nanodiamonds, which some scientists argue could only have been created by an extraterrestrial explosion. If this theory is true, the Clovis may have been one of the first human civilizations wiped out by a global disaster. Another school of thought suggests a less dramatic, but equally powerful possibility. As Ice Age animals like mammoths and saber-toothed cats died out, the Clovis may have adapted, abandoning big game hunting and adopting new survival methods. Archaeologists point to the appearance of the Folsom culture shortly after the Clovis vanished. This may have been an evolution, not an extinction. The Clovis simply changed identity, blending into new cultures and ways of life. But there is one more theory, one that casts a darker shadow over history. Some researchers propose that the Clovis may have been annihilated by a mysterious and deadly force still unknown. Around the same time they disappeared, countless species of megafauna also went extinct: giant ground sloths, saber-toothed predators, woolly mammoths, all gone in a geological instant. Could the Clovis have been victims of the same devastating event? Was it disease, violent conflict? Whatever the cause, one thing is certain: the Clovis were here. They thrived. They shaped the earliest pages of human history in North America, and then their story abruptly ended, leaving behind one of archaeology's most haunting riddles, still unanswered.